Sorry, YouTube. I'm trying to get y'all a better angle there. Sorry. Facebook, you got an up-close angle. My apologies. All right. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a hump day edition of Mornings. Okay. Presented by Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Hope you are all having a magnificent start to your day. I want to remind you all that this evening, 6:45 p.m., yours truly, at Yoga Studio 90, free class for everyone who's interested. You've heard me talk about it. You maybe seen my post about it. Come join this evening, 6:45, totally free class. You could sign up online. If you want to reserve your spot, I'm pinning the link in the comments on both Facebook and YouTube to go sign up. There are still spots available. Would absolutely love to have it jam-packed. So they're going to give away a bunch of free stuff. Just come have a good workout, hang out with us. As soon as AFR ends, I'm jetting over there. So hope to see a whole bunch of y'all there tonight at Yoga Studio 90 and 6:45. Meet Matt on the mat, Yoga Studio 90. Okay, so an up and down day for LSU in the secondary. Dwight Mclaughlin has entered the transfer portal, but then LSU went and picked up commitments from a couple of players in the secondary. Joe Fauché is one of them, who is a 3-year starter at Arkansas, was team captain. He went to McDonough 35, was a 3-star. LSU didn't recruit him out of high school. He goes to Arkansas. Again, he's been a 3-year starter there. Well, 2-year starter. He played a lot as a freshman, but started the last 2 years. And has 1 year of eligibility left, and he's transferring to LSU. Now, he's a safety, but LSU needs help with numbers in their secondary. I don't know if he'll play corner at all, but they need help. Now, the other transfer they got is Mekhi Gardner, who is a transfer from ULL. So he is a cornerback. He is he is from Texas. Signed with ULL, was not rated when he was coming out of high school. He was a safety. He was a 6'1" safety coming out of high school. Did not have a star rating. But played at ULL and I was transferred to LSU. So I know what the convenient thing, the argument that fans sometimes make is, who needs him? We're better off, blah, blah. No, you're not. You're not better without Dwight Mclaughlin. Dwight Mclaughlin stepped in this year when Stingley got hurt and started opposite Eli Ricks and was awesome. And then when Ricks got hurt, we saw Flott kick down and he was awesome too. And now both of those guys are gone. I would feel infinitely better about LSU secondary for this coming season if you had Mclaughlin and Flott as your two boundary corners. Now you have neither. The only two scholarship cornerbacks that you have are Demarius McGee and Redarius Jones. You signed LaTerrence Welch, and now you've added a transfer. Y'all, they got a lot more heavy lifting to do, just numbers-wise. But, McGlothern was a guy that was obviously affected a lot by the change, man. He did not, and he was very vocal about it on social media. Go look at his Twitter. Did not like Elias Ricks leaving. Did not like Austin Thomas leaving. There have been other staffers as well, people whose names you don't know but work in the football office, who have been shown the door as well. He did not like that. I mean, you can tell this guy did not adjust well to the change. And that sucks for LSU. He's a really good cornerback. So, I mean, you are not better without Dwight Mclaughlin. So you got to kick that. But in the meantime, LSU needs to go hit the portal because then they got to get even more numbers. I mean, it's just, you can't go into the season with Demarius McGee and Radarius Jones, a freshman in LaTerrence Welch, and a transfer from ULL, Mekhi Gardner. Like, that can't be it. Or you're going to have a hell of a time trying to stop offenses next year. All right, let's say some good morning. Also, y'all, time to boot up. LSU today basketball against Florida at the O'Connell Center, or as it's now known, Exactitech Arena, or whatever they call it. 6 o'clock tip for LSU in Florida. Of course, we have the session at this class of Yoga Studio 90, so I'll DVR the game tonight and watch it when I get home. But Florida's a slight favorite, 2-point favorite over LSU in this ball game. We did see a big road win last night with Auburn going to Coleman Coliseum and getting a win. I mean, that game was tied. Bama had about 3 or 4 possessions at the end of the game while it was tied. They had like 3 or 4 consecutive stops. They could not get a bucket to take a lead. So so Auburn beats Bama on Bama's home floor. So proving to be maybe the best team in college basketball right now. All right, let's say some good mornings here. Henry Burrell, good morning from Jonesboro, Arkansas. All right, man. Courtney Storer, Shannon Maggio, good morning. Good morning. Ricky Lambert, good morning. Reagan Lee. Looks like LSU's going to get Greg Brooks from the Hogs as well. Yes, they should. So Arkansas had 2 defensive backs from Louisiana announced they entered the transfer portal. They've already got Fauché on board, and Greg Brooks should be as well. And that would help because Brooks is a corner. Like, that would help. Kelly Presley, good morning. Ordered my windows with Relief Windows yesterday. There you go, Kelly. Appreciate that greatly. Well, I mean, I know Relief Windows does, but hopefully you gave them a little shout out for AFR, Morning Scone. They're great. They will treat you wonderfully. If you have any issues whatsoever, speak up because they will bend over backwards to make sure that you're thrilled. James Owens, good morning. Benton Alford, Brian Wynn, good morning. Brandon, good morning. Yo, Matt, going off of the first 3 conference games, what do you think are the chances LSU goes 5-2 the first 7? That's, I think, the target. You know, I think you got to get this one tonight, and you're a 2-point underdog in this game. Keep in mind, Florida's 0-2 in the league, 9-5 overall. They've had their struggles, but again, it is hard to win on the road. And LSU's one true road game that we've seen so far was hideous. Now, granted, it was against one of the best teams in all of college basketball, but if that's the only sample size you have to go off of, I understand why people are going to be leery. But this is one you have to get. I think you can win the road game at Tennessee as well. Todd Harris, good morning. Jason Gibson, morning, Matt. Just joining the stream. What do you know about the 2 additions to the football team? All right, just talked about that. Chance Babbitt, Jonathan O'Neill, John Bro. Very glad Fauché's coming home. Yeah, I'm going to be curious to see where he fits in the defense. You'll have Major Burns back healthy. You've got Jay Ward back there at safety also. Is it one of those situations where maybe you try to kick him to corner? I don't think so. Could he be that sort of nickel safety? Well, that's where Sage Ryan played. If you're transferring as a senior, you typically, it's for an opportunity to play or to start if you're not doing that, or an opportunity to win. And the interesting thing about that is, Arkansas finished the season ranked and won a bowl game. LSU 6-7 and fired their coach, and he was a team captain at Arkansas. So to leave there shows you dude just wanted to come home, play for the home state school. Blake DeVilliers, morning, Matt. Looking for recommendations for the wife's birthday weekend in Baton Rouge. Steakhouse or best oysters appreciated. Well, sure. Well, Eric and I will be at Rufino's this weekend, celebrating our anniversary. You can never go wrong there. Roots Chris, great steak, of course. Doe's Eat Place has an amazing steak. It's more casual, which is kind of cool, actually. You walk in, it's like picnic benches with the red and white checker cloth tablecloths, and but amazing steaks and the best old fashioned in town, by the way. Oysters. I mean, you get some choices. You got Acme. Mike Anderson's does great oysters as well. So Jolie Pearl downtown, if you want oysters. So a lot of options, man. Hey, Uncle Mike. Good morning. Seems like transfer signings are going to start coming fast now. Deborah Coward, good morning. Jamie Leday, good morning. Pat Huseman, good morning. Big Boy Hard Knocks 46, good morning. Lawrence Burley, Jesse Brown. Chosen Kingston, finally, bro. Just subscribed yesterday. Glad to catch you. Hoodaff and Baton Rouge, love the way you keep it real, no faking over here. Thank you, man. I appreciate that very much. Thank you for the sub. Thank you for watching. If you are there on YouTube and you're not subscribed, please do so. Smash that like button and set notifications. Remember, it's Wednesday, so we will have Nightcap with Scone tonight. So I'm going to do the classic at Yoga Studio 90 at 6:45. That'll end at 7:45. Hang out for a little bit. I'll get home, shower, get some dinner, and then we'll do Nightcap. So we'll look forward to that. So however you're watching right now, Facebook or YouTube, however you're watching right now, 9 o'clock tonight, we'll be back here for Nightcap. Trivia Carter, Joseph Armando, Bubba Tatum, Travis Broussard. Losing McGlothern was a bummer. That's the nature of the game these days. Yeah. The really disappointing thing, though, with McGlothern is I mean, the path is completely cleared for him to be the guy. So I'll be curious where he lands. Remember, McGlothern's from Texas. So, is he enticed by NIL money to go home and go to Texas A&M? Or, he's very close to Corey Raymond. Does he go to Florida with Raymond? That's going to be interesting to see. Mackenzie DeVille, when does your new podcast start? So literally any day now. I may wait until Monday, but so for those who are asking, did Locked on LSU for 3 years, had to step aside from Locked on LSU, mostly just because as it grew, which was phenomenal, the growth, that's what we wanted, we ended up having more and more like sponsor conflicts with AFR and Locked on LSU, and then also Guarantee launched the Guarantee Podcast Network, so naturally they would like me to produce content for them, my employer. So that's why. So I'll be doing a very similar format podcast, almost the same thing, but it's just going to be under the Guarantee Podcast Network. I think we're going to call it LSU Daily. Just call it what it is. And it'll be 20 minutes or so of LSU talk every day. Also signed Jordan Allen. Yeah, so Huey, I know they signed Jordan Allen. He's out of Lafayette Christian. I don't know if Jordan Allen is going to be a safety or a corner. I've heard sort of mixed things there. And if he is a corner, I don't know that he's a plug and play guy. I did see LaTerrence Welsh tweeted yesterday, like not being cocky, but I'm coming in to play. I'm coming in ready to play. I love that kid, by the way. I just watching him on Twitter. I need to get him on AFR today. Because when Ricks announced his transfer, McGlothern went and quote tweeted Ricks and was like, man, we could have been special together. Well, then LaTerrence Welsh went and quote tweeted McGlothern and like, let's go be special together. Like, hey, man, forget him. I got it. So I love that attitude for that guy. I love it. T Streets, was his transfer due to grades or marijuana test? Neither. Now, the reason he didn't play in the bowl game, that's not why he transferred. Keith H. Morning, Matt. What's the latest on Cortez Hankton? All signs point to him being the wide receiver coach. So when they announce it, we'll see. Jesse Brown, Joseph Armato, Chris Nelson. Morning, Matt. How about the big shot last night for Brandon Ingram for the win over the T-Wolves? That was awesome. As a matter of fact, it's on my phone. Todd Graffinini sent me his radio call, so we'll play it today on AFR. How about the Pels? They are 12-10 in their last 22 since, I guess, in the second half of the the first half, and now the first game of the second half. Danny Burney, good morning. Tad Page, Lucy B, Patrick Ramos, SPC 1689. 1792 or Woodford Reserve. Have you tried the TJ Mellick whiskey? It's the local brew. Yes. So TJ Mellick. Yes, I've had it. I don't prefer rice whiskey. So it's not. I don't really like it. It's fine. I'm not saying that it's bad. It's just not my cup of tea or cup of whiskey. Now you're asking 1792 or Woodford Reserve. Which 1792? I mean, you have bottle and bond, you have small batch, you have 12-year, you have full proof. There's a lot of them, and I would tell you I would prefer pretty much anything from 1792 over Woodford. I just don't like the full proof 1792. Michael Tolliver, good morning, Matt. Watch Will Wade's press conference ahead of tonight's game. Man's attention to detail off the charts due to such a boss. Yes, he is. The story I always tell about that is I remember his first year here. He was in a press conference and he was talking about the optimal temperature or the preferred temperature in a room for optimal sleep is like 69 degrees. So when they're on the road, when they travel, they stay in hotels, all of the players have to set their thermostat to 69 degrees because it's like the optimal sleep temperature. It's crazy. It's that sort of stuff. Bailey C. Better Saints running back. Mark Ingram or Deuce? Deuce. The combo of size and speed was just Deuce. Kevin, injuries unfortunately just derailed Deuce. Kevin Thomas, Matt, had a dream I met you and I showed off to you me knowing the Hudco jingle word for word. Kevin, well, thank you. But when you're dreaming about me and the Hudco jingle, some might argue that would be the time to maybe disengage a bit, to take a step back. I would argue that's the perfect time to call Hudco.
Someone you know, Scone, Ontario. All you need is Hudco. Call Hudco Roofing. 364-1007.
Yeah, we are rolling, by the way. It's come to my attention. There are so many people that post-IDA have gotten their scope of work. So you've called insurance, they've given you approval, and you have your scope of work paperwork, your insurance approval. That is, in our business, like a golden ticket. If you got your scope of work, you are done. Just pick shingle colors and we got you done. So if that's you or someone you know and you're waiting on a roofing company, whatever it is, give us a call. And let's get rolling. You can even email me directly, matt@hudcoroofing.com if you'd like. Paul Hingle, do we look up north or try to stay in the south? I don't know what you mean. For players, go anywhere. Let's see. Tim Forche, good morning. Steve Colson, yoga better get Celevated. Let's go, Steve. Hey, Steve, drop off a pallet of Celevate at Yoga Studio 90, and I will make sure that everyone there gets a bottle or a can of Celevate before they get out of there. Let's go. Let's get Celevated, man. Kelly Knight, good morning. Neil Ripley, where's Dwight headed? Not sure yet, Neil. My guess would be A&M, Bama, Florida. Caleb Bernard from Steele, Missouri. All right. Sean Comiskey, what's your opinion on all these transfers? It's the nature of the game, man. Do I wish people would stay and finish their career in a plate? Sure. It's just not reality anymore. And that's just what it is. And I know the fan sentiment as well. It's free agency. It's professional sports. Y'all, what do you think college football's been for 100 years? The really rich schools with the resources and the facilities that pay their coaches, they get the best players. The best players go to the same schools every year. Why do you think every year we're talking about Bama and Georgia and Clemson and Ohio State and Oklahoma? Same people every year. I mean, Iowa ain't never winning a national championship, y'all. Washington's never winning a national championship. Come on. So, it's what it's always been. And players have always gotten paid, just under the table. Now it's just all above board. So, I mean, not being a cynic, I'm just being a realist. It's just what it's been. Some of y'all just refuse to acknowledge it. You wrap yourself in your purple and gold cloak or whatever your favorite school color is, and you talk about the pageantry of the game and how it's purity. No, it ain't. You go back to 1908. LSU doesn't claim the 1908 national championship because there were accusations of professionalism. 1908. It's 100 years ago. Anyway. Paul Hengel, Ashari, what's good, man? Ed Reeder, good morning. Subaru, good morning. Todd Harris, would Jay Ward move to corner? Todd, I'd be down with that. I think that's one of those now where you look and you, okay, with Jay Ward, where are you best? Where do you best serve the defense? What's your best position? He moved to safety because they were in desperate need of safeties. But as a nickel corner, he was fantastic as a freshman. Reagan Lee asked if Fauché would have 2 more years. No, so he signed in the class of 2018. So this is his super senior year. So he played in 18 at Arkansas. So 18, 19, 20, 21. This was his 4th year. So his 5th year is coming up at LSU. Matt Godwin, good morning. Jason Gibson, who does Scone Stradamus pick in the NFL games this weekend? Ask me closer to the weekend. Ron Ritchie, thoughts on the announced Alabama transfer? Who? I mean, I'm not being funny here. There's so many. It's hard to keep them, it's really hard to keep them all straight. See where, I don't know who you're talking about. Someone going to Alabama or leaving Alabama? Paul Hingle, big win for the Pels last night. Yeah, man, it was nice to get that win, especially over a team that pounded them a month or so ago. David Colson, I'm in Colorado Springs, so I'm not up to speed on the basketball roster. What's the latest on Pinson's knee injury? Who steps in to fill his role? So, MCL strain, which is probably the best news that you can get. Not sprain, nothing torn, nothing structurally wrong, just a strain. They said he'll be out for a few days, maybe a week. And look for Justice Williams, the freshman, to get those minutes. Of course, you'll likely see Eric Gaines start and run the point, but look for Justice Williams to get those minutes. Hey, Kelly Gross, good morning. Chase Pellegrin just got on. Good morning. Not sure if talked about the Tigers are +2 at the moment. What are your thoughts? My thoughts are, I told you it's hard to win on the road, and it's being weighted that way. Of course, I like LSU in this game. I think it's going to be very hard to win on the road, but this is a place where I think you got to go get one. This is one that you can go get, probably should go get, but no Xavier Pinson complicates it. Florida's got Colin Castellon, who is a great big, right? So, let's see how Efton Reed handles that. On the road against Kessler, he was completely overmatched. Now you're going up against another very experienced, crafty front court player in Colin Castellon. Let's see how he does. Charlie Cavell, Ronnie Duga, how you doing since the accident? Seems like you're moving good. Yeah, thanks, Ronnie. Man, I'm getting a lot of therapy and stuff. I did go see a doctor just to make sure everything checked out okay. Got a bunch of anti-inflammatories. Went and saw Crystal Poche, who straightened me out a little bit. I've actually started doing acupuncture. Feeling good, though. Feeling better. Charlie Cavell, rumblings about the 2 Notre Dame players transferring to LSU. I haven't heard that, Charlie. Maybe, but there have been several Notre Dame players that entered the portal. And Notre Dame had an offensive lineman enter the transfer portal that transferred to Minnesota. So, LSU kind of needs linemen. They didn't get that guy, so I don't know. If I go to the LSU game, is there a chance to meet coach and some players? Yeah, Paul. If you, if you hang out outside the locker room after the game when they exit. Sam Dixon, morning, Scone. May have missed this if you discussed it, but 7 Bama players at the portal yesterday. I see at least one former 5-star. I'm sure the staff will send out feelers if we had a shot. Portal's affecting everyone. Never know who you'll be cheering for against next season. That is true, and Sam, it's. So, I've made this point a bunch. Yes, you can lament the portal and you can lament guys leaving. And that's all very true. I mean, that stinks when Dwight McGlothern leaves or Elias Ricks leaves. Yes. The flip side of it is you have to use it in your favor also. Alabama's best receiver this year just came from the portal, Jamison Williams. Albeit a grad transfer, the greatest player in the history of LSU football came here via transfer, Joe Burrow. So it's just another way of scouting where you have to be diligent now. But the benefit is, the detriment is you're going to lose guys. But hopefully the guys that you lose are guys that are just seeking playing time elsewhere, like in Alex Adams, like say Trey Palmer. You understand my point. What you hate to see is losing Dwight McGlothern. But use the portal to your benefit. Let's see. Jump back over here to YouTube. Smash that like button, YouTube. 113 watching, only 42 likes. If we can get that up, appreciate that. Kenny Futch, what's up, Matthew? Vincent, good morning. Is there a chance Logan Diggs could enter the portal, come back to LSU? I don't think so, Matthew. I mean, Logan Diggs, for those who don't know, is the Notre Dame running back from Rummel. He sure seems like he's locked in as the starter at Notre Dame next year. So, not that I've heard anyway. So Kenny said, look, LaTerrence Welsh type of player Brian Kelly should recruit all in with LSU. I mean, Kenny, that's easy to say, but listen, man, everybody that signs with a school, when they sign with the school, is all in with the team they sign with. But sometimes your career just manifests differently. Sometimes you don't play much, or sometimes you're losing and you want to go win. I mean, it's easy to say, but you're always going to get, like LSU is always going to get the guys from this state that just want to be at LSU. It is the inherent advantage. LSU cannot spit, y'all. The word is that. Wait, hang on 1 second. I'll pick up that thought in a second. Hang on 1 second. Okay, as always, I'll shout out to Brock. BROrtho.com. New year, new career. Brock is hiring. And of course, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Kenny was talking about Brian Kelly recruiting players that love LSU. You're going to get those guys. It's the inherent advantage of a place like LSU where you have in-state kids that are always just going to want to be at LSU. Walker Howard, Will Campbell are great examples of that. And then there's going to be some where you have to be competitive with NIL. That's Jacoby Matthews. Jacoby Matthews would love to be at LSU, but he's got huge NIL offers on the table from Texas A&M. So can you be competitive there? And the tricky part for LSU is that the pockets at LSU are not as deep as they are places like A&M or Texas or Georgia. Some of the scuttle is that like Texas has boosters committing $10 million a year for NIL. LSU can't compete with that. And I know what some are going to say, well, LSU just paid their coach $100 million. Right. when you have to go to all of the same people that are paying Ogeron's buyout and are footing the bill for Brian Kelly's $100 million contract, and they're the same people that are your top donors that are buying suites and all that sort of stuff. Like, at some point, that well runs dry. Like, at some point, they've tapped out. It's not like the amount of billionaire oil men that the state of Texas has. It's not to say LSU's got no money. Of course they've got support. Look at the facilities. Look at what they're paying. But that well isn't as deep as it is in other places where it's easy to go, like Texas, to go put together $10 million in NIL money a year. So the way LSU remains competitive is recruit the kids in state that would give their front teeth to be an LSU Tiger. And when you need to spend in NIL, you be very strategic about it. Brandon, will Matt on the Mat be live streamed? We could do that. I don't know that other people in the class would want that, but I don't mind live streaming myself doing the class. So for those who are just joining tonight, is the free class at Yoga Studio 90 that I've been telling you about. Meet Matt on the Mat. Yoga Studio 90 is on Highlandia, so you turn off of Highland onto Highlandia. It runs parallel to I-10. It's basically the other side of I-10 from Blue Bayou. 6:45, so I'll get done with AFR at 6. I'll jet straight over there. Free class. I've got the link pinned in the comments, so you can go sign up. Just if you want to reserve your spot, it's totally free. But if you want to reserve your spot, so come hang out, get a great workout in. It'll be an hour. Cardio, you will sweat. Cardio, functional, strength, stretching, flexibility, balance, all that sort of stuff. Don't be intimidated. It's going to be a great workout. Hopefully y'all can come join. Let's see. Matt Lusto, inflation announced at 7%. Looks like Bitcoin isn't dumping. Dude, all of crypto's dumping right now. We need Binance Coin to pump. Binance Coin pumps, Gamecoin follows. I mean, because we're a BEP20 token, so because Gamecoin is on the Binance Smart Chain, part of our liquidity pool is Binance coins, or Binance tokens. So when the price of Binance drops, which it's dropped $200 from its all-time high, so that effectively on our ledger, on Gamecoin's ledger, looks like behaves like $1 million sale. You have $1 million liquidity come out. So if Binance Coin pumps again, even if nobody's buying Gamecoin, the price of Gamecoin is going to go up. So we need a recovery. Hey, Matt, does Stetson have good taste in whiskey? Stetson Bennett taking a pull from a bottle of Pappy 23. God bless. When is Hutko getting in on the NIL deals? We've talked about doing it for baseball. We have. Cold Kid. When you think we should get a press conference with the new hires? I don't know that they will, Cold Kid. They probably will do the coordinators. Remember, Matt House isn't even here yet. So Matt House is with the Kansas City Chiefs. So whenever the Chiefs season ends, then he'll be here. So maybe when the Chiefs season ends. Who dat? What's up? Bailey C. Saints not having first round picks might not be a bad thing based on the last two. Go get Russ. Yes, I would absolutely give up first round picks for Russell Wilson. Not even a question. I wouldn't necessarily go that route. Ruiz has obviously not played well. But I also think he's out of position. He's a natural center. He's not a guard. And then Peyton Turner, I'm not ready to punt. When he played this year, he looked good. He just didn't play much. He was injured. So get healthy. Let's see what he can be when he's healthy. Trent Morales, morning, Matt. I was younger when Saban became the head coach. Does this reset under Kelly feel similar? No. Keep in mind, Trenton, when Nick became the coach, nobody was thinking Nick Saban's coming here to win national championships. When Nick got here, it had been 40 years since LSU had won a natty. I mean, by the time they won it in 03, for 42 years. It was 45 years by the time they actually won it. So nobody was thinking Nick's coming here to win natties. Remember, Nick Saban was a 9-win coach at Michigan State. He wasn't Nick Saban that we all know. He was still he was a guy who had success and came in here and changed the culture, as we all know. But so no, I mean the feeling of Brian Kelly is you're coming here to win national championships because that's been the expectation now for 20 years here. Shane O'Mac, what's good? How about BI coming through in the clutch? Huge shot for BI last night. Pat Huseman, a lot would call me crazy. I just didn't see the big hype with McGlothern. Best of luck on a new adventure. Yeah, Pat, you're crazy. Dwight McGlothern stepped in when Stingley got hurt and was a lockdown corner. He is the prototypical body type. He was awesome. Yes, Dwight McGlothern is a gigantic loss. Wendell Norman, Brandon Goche. Any chance Dwight is doing this to get better on an NIL deal from LSU boosters? I don't think so, Brandon. I think he's transferring. Kenny Futch. Let's see. A smoke break. Good morning. Bailey C. Good morning. Basketball school until August. Don't forget baseball school as well. CJ Jones. Good morning. Congrats on the anniversary this weekend. Where do you think LSU will finish in the SEC West in baseball? Should LSU upgrade the box to make it more fan-friendly instead of so corporate? Okay, so that's a mouthful there. Remember, Sorry, 1 second. Okay. So it's really hard for me to answer the question because I can't tell you. It would be disingenuous for me to tell you that I knew up and down Mississippi State and Ole Miss and Arkansas and all their rosters. I don't. State won the Natty last year. They return a lot. Ole Miss is always highly ranked, and Bianco's done a really good job getting talent through there. I don't know where LSU will finish in the West in baseball, and I don't really care. As long as they're a top 8 national seed, which I think they've got a great chance to be. And as far as upgrade to the box, what would you do to make it more fan-friendly? I don't, for me, I would say put chair backs in the entire thing. But aside from that, I don't know what you mean, make it more fan-friendly, less corporate. Like, you're never going to replace the seats behind home plate to just let any fan sit there for $5. There's a reason it's premium seating. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know what you... give me a suggestion. What would you do to make it more fan-friendly? Big Easy 504, good morning. You know what's going on with Sharif O'Neal. I know that he's coming back. Will's told us that Sharif could play, but he'd be on a minutes restriction. I think right now it's finding a spot to get him into the rotation. When you have an 8-man rotation and you're going as good as you are, where is the spot to get him in the game for 5 minutes? I don't know. So, I love the fact that he's back. He's long. Sharif's a willing defender and rebounder. And he's got 5 fouls to give. So I think there's a role for him. When he gets on the floor, I don't know. Let's see, do you think baseball is going to pass basketball in attendance in the SEC soon? A lot of money being dumped into baseball programs. No, CJ, I just don't think the stadiums are going to be that big. We're a little skewed here looking at the box, seating 10, 11, 12,000. I know Duty Noble and, Baum up in Arkansas, or what do they call it now? It's a hyphenated something or other, but up at Arkansas. Like, some of those stadiums are really big. The majority are not. Basketball arenas are still going to seat more. So, no, I don't. I don't think that baseball is going to pass basketball in attendance. Brian Penton, good morning. This chair is a beast. Irfan Sayad, good morning. Malcolm McKay, Devin Kelly, what's good? Why would McGlothern transfer? I've kind of gone through that a little bit. He did not handle all the transition well. Missed the bowl game. I think he either goes to A&M to be closer to home and get NIL money, or he goes to Florida to be with Corey Raymond. I hope LSU fans give Brian Kelly time to build this things. Bailey, he's got $100 million contract over 10 years where his buyout is 90% of the remainder of his contract. He ain't going nowhere. Back here on Facebook, Jason Gibson, good morning. Paul Hingle, Chance Babb and LSU will be assembled with transfer portal duct tape this year. That's true. I mean, you're going to have to do it this year. But keep in mind, Michigan State did that, and they ended up in a New Year's Six game. So if you manage your roster properly, you get talented players with experience at positions of need who buy into what you're doing, it can work. Neil Ripley, Isaac Landry, what's up? Brandon Kleber, morning, Matt. Any other cornerbacks in the portal that can help us? I'm sure. I mean, let's look at the transfer portal. Okay. Devin Bush is leaving Arkansas. Wow, he's got three. Devontae Nelson leaving Memphis. Enoch Macanzo is leaving Coastal Carolina. Caleb Offord's a cornerback from Notre Dame. It's a possibility, I guess. Jalen Martin leaving Cal. You're just running through what their projections are based on their what their star ranking was. Like Mekhi Williams Garner was an unranked player out of high school. He was a no-star player out of high school. The guy who LSU just got a commit from. And there's a lot of players in the portal. You better get to scouting. Any chance we see Sharif? I think they'll see Sharif this year. Kenneth Kyle, good morning. Sam Dixon. Agree, Matt, I made up my mind. Rooting for whoever is in an LSU uniform at the time. Yeah. Scott Shirley, morning, Matt. Hope Drew has a great day. Why are we still adding a transfer safety when we already are stacked? Are we expecting to lose more guys to the portal? Yes, number one. And I wouldn't say that LSU stacked at safety. Look at the issue you had there. First of all, Jay Ward, I think, is very good at safety, but he could move back to corner. Major Burns was injured, so he'll be back. After that, remember, Sage Ryan played nickel safety this year. It's more of a nickel back, and with Cordell Flotcon, he probably kicks down as well. So you're not that deep there. We could talk about Jordan Tolles. We could talk about Davis. But those aren't guys that have played a lot of football. It's certainly not at a high level. When you have a chance to add a guy that's been a 3-year starter in the SEC and is a team captain sort of thing, like you add that guy. You're more experienced immediately with that guy. Dale Broussard, will GMX always be tied to Binance? No, once we build our own smart chain. Good question. I look forward to the day where it's, we build on our own smart chain or a different platform, build the app on a different platform, and that's not required. You'll be able just to go to some of these exchanges and just buy it. Darren Straub, Saints have given up first-round picks for way less. Aaron Fisk, individual seating down the foul lines. Oh, you're talking about baseball. Okay. Individual seating down the foul line. So you mean chairbacks, right? Not bleachers. I'm for that. Illuminate the outfield bleachers, turn it into a berm. Oh, eliminate, not illuminate. Yeah, I don't think that's a great idea. Because not everyone's going to want to sit in a berm. Everybody's going to want to sit on a blanket. Some people like having their seat, where you're not going to have someone blocking your view or know where you sit. Like, I like the berm idea, But I think the better idea for the berm is make it in straightaway center, underneath the batter's eye. Right now, where that's just like an empty space where construction vehicles are. Now, I don't know if they have the space back there otherwise, maybe behind the wall to move all that stuff. But straightaway center, I think, would be the spot where you could potentially add a berm. But right now, you can't sell as seats. Like, you're not selling out every game. You're not packing every game to where it necessitates having a berm. Greg Kirkman, morning Matt from Richmond, VA. Got season baseball tickets this year. Okay. So I'm guessing you're just in Richmond. You're not living in Richmond. Because if you have baseball tickets and you live in Richmond, that's a hell of a commute, man. But yeah, I'm excited about baseball too. Scott Sherrill, does Jay Ward move back to corner? A lot of people are asking that. He could. I don't know. Bill Gallion, what time is yoga? 6:45. So 6:45 p.m. So I'll get off air, AFR at 6. I'll jet right over to Yoga Studio 90. Class starts at 6:45. Totally free, open to all. Come. I mean, y'all can laugh at me, doing my best. But the thing I'll tell you all about that class is all different ages, shapes, sizes, men, women, different skill levels. You just make the workout your own. So, but man, I love it. I feel so good when I leave there. You'll sweat, stretch. You'll elevate your heart rate. It's a great workout. So y'all come hang out. If you want to sign up for Yoga Studio 90, meet Matt on the mat. The link is pinned in the comments on both Facebook and YouTube. So if you look at the pinned link there, that's the sign up form. You don't have to. It would be great if you did sign up, so we would have a number count. But you can just show up. Bring a friend. Bring your spouse. Come work out together. Bring the kids. Maybe not like 5 years old, but if you have like a middle school teenager, you see kids in there sometimes too. Kyle Milliken, Matt, do you think Georgia winning the Natty is probably a turning point for the program? I feel like if they would have lost, they would be Clemson now. I think they're trending up after the win. Clemson has won a couple of Natties too, bro. I think you mean like when it was Clemsoning before. Yeah, I do. I think once you've broken that seal, once you've won it once, it's easier to win it a second time. Remember when Skip Bertman was at LSU, he lost in Omaha 5 times before he finally won it. And once they won it, boy, wasn't no stopping them. So, yeah, I do think that once you kick in that door, it's easier to do a second time. GB got tired of dealing with T-Boy and his partners down here on the bayou. Finally called Hudco and Relief Windows. Thank you, GB. Appreciate that. We will treat you great, as I know Relief Windows will as well. So thank you very much. Yeah, y'all. HudcoRoofing.com. I know there's so many people who have either been slow played by insurance or other roofing companies say, we'll get to you in 2 months, 3 months. Call us. You got your scope of work, 2-3 weeks, you'll have a new roof within 2 or 3 weeks. HudcoRoofing.com. Elite Goods, LLC, what's up? That's Team Winston. I'm down for it. Ryan Rogers, good morning. Last 2 undefeated in college basketball, losing last night. Saw that Baylor went down to Texas Tech. Reed Wilson, they say Rodarius Jones will transfer. And that wouldn't surprise me. I don't have any insight there, but it wouldn't surprise me. Ben Giat, it is still unsettling that players are transferring out. It's positive to see we're bringing in players. Did we get the wide receiver coach in yet? Not yet. Haven't announced that yet. But of course, Brian Kelly told you point blank during the interview during the Texas Bowl that they were going to address it in the portal. So he has to. It was the most obvious thing in the world. They had 38 scholarship players for that game. Now some of them were just academically ineligible or injured, but you only signed 13 in the early signing period. Like, you've got to fill a roster. And it's not all going to be high school kids. So yeah, there's going to be more. LSU should allow baseball fans to bring an ice chest, build a party deck, one of the outfield. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Boil crawfish, that'll never happen. Come on, like you're going to have a fire hazard out there. But, it's And CJ's just too much of a revenue generator to let people bring in their own ice chests or concessions. I mean, it's and you say, well, that's where it's too corporate. Well, do you want a nice stadium? Do you want great facilities that recruit the best players? Do you want to pay the best coach to leave Arizona, where he was in the College World Series, to come here and be you know what I mean? If you want nice things, you got to pay for it. Well, how do you pay for it? Well, like that. Jay Bugs, do you believe most of our players are leaving because of LSU, or do their coaches leaving? Rarely ever is it that cut and dried. You have 85 scholarship players, all that grew up in 85 different families from different places with different backgrounds and different goals, and some of it is aligned, but what's to say one kid doesn't want NIL money, or one kid wants to go play for Corey Raymond, or one kid doesn't like Brian Kelly? Who knows? I mean, it's an individual case by case basis, but the overarching reality is LSU is at a point where you just have a lot of change. Brian Kelly's in, Ed Ogeron's out. A lot of these kids are recruited by Ogeron and his staff. There's only one position coach retained, so if you were fond of your position coach, or that was a reason you were here, and that person's gone now, that's another reason to leave. NIL money, it's just changed. The door's open, man. I don't think it's a most are leaving because of ... I think you take them on a case-by-case basis. It's easier to paint with a broad brush. It's more difficult to consider the context of each situation, but that's what you have to do. Latrell McCutcheon has 2 years left. He was rated high over Dwight McGlothern. Well, go scout him. Bring him in. Let me see. I'm looking. Sorry. Let's see. I don't see him on the DBs. I'm not saying he's not there. I just don't see him on the DBs here. Unless they just don't have him listed on here yet. Anyway. All right, a couple more. Jimmy Satterfield, CJ Jones. Do you think LSU will ever copy MSU or Ole Miss with the outfield concept? I just don't know how you do it. Could you see the Saints swoop up Chris Olave? Could you see the Chiefs safety be a DB coach for LSU? I guess you're talking about Tyrann Mathieu. Could Tyrann coach? Sure. I don't know if he will. I mean, he's still got a lot of playing days left. And Olave, yeah. I think Garrett Wilson is kind of projected as the more higher rated receiver. Be interesting to see what happens with Jameson Williams. If he did tear his ACL, does he drop in the draft? Which would be so sad. But, Olave could be on the board for the Saints at 18. I would have no problem with them taking another Ohio State guy. 504 Hot Boys, Hudco hiring. Always open to a conversation, for sure. Always looking for good people. Matt@HudcoRoofing.com. Hit me up, Matt@HudcoRoofing.com. Or better yet, email Richard Tilley. It's RichardT@HudcoRoofing.com. Richard T, the letter T, RichardT@HudcoRoofing.com. Cody Brunet, Saints trade for Jimmy G. I don't think so. Sean Comiskey, how did LSU's roster get so depleted? I'll say the answer, but some of you are just going to call me a hater. Look at who your head coach was. He had his chief advisor was a morning radio host. Like, he had no idea what he was doing. He didn't know how to manage a roster. They recruited a lot of star rankings. He didn't know how to manage a roster. That's how it got like this. Like, he was a horrible coach and manager of a program. Horrible. How did he win a national championship? Because they got the most transcendent player in the history of the program in the transfer portal. That's how. And he had a loaded-ass roster of upperclassmen that were mostly recruited by Les Miles. Look at what happened. And he inherited a staff mostly hired by Les Miles. What if Dave Aranda wasn't LSU's defensive coordinator? How would that have gone with Ed Ogeron? Bo Pelini and what happened this year kind of give you the answer. Anyway, don't get me started on that again. It's over. He's gone. I never want to talk about him again. All right. Saints need a wide receiver who can come in and challenge Michael Thomas the way Kamara did Ingram just to keep him on his game. Yeah, I don't know that Kamara challenged Ingram so much as it was just a contrasting style. So to that point, Michael Thomas is great, inside of 15 yards. You need the guy that can stretch the field, which they haven't really had since Devery Henderson. I know Ted Ginn, but they tried it with Brandon Cooks, shipped him out of here. But they need that guy. They need the guy that can stretch the field. Let's see, Matt, not true at all. I have been to Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Fans bring in ice chests and let fans grill in the outfield. They're 3 successful programs, have great stadiums. No. Hold on. If you're talking about an outfield berm area for students and things like that, that's fine. There's also no comparison whatsoever in revenue at LSU and those schools. There isn't. You can say they're successful programs, and that's fine and great. But if you're talking about revenue in a program to build that sort of stuff, LSU has a gigantic advantage. Now, we can talk about them, why haven't they won? And you can look back at the last handful of years with Maneri and the way it went, whatever. We can have that conversation. But when you want to talk about building up a program and generating revenue, we can go look at Ole Miss, Arkansas, Mississippi State. I guarantee you they lose money in baseball because LSU in baseball barely breaks even. Barely. And they are the preeminent power in college baseball. So as far as fan attendance, support, revenue, all that sort of stuff. So look, man, you can go have a berm at Ole Miss and let the students go through beer showers and all that crap. That's fine. That's fine. You can do it. You can have a student section in baseball. It's fine. But what I'm telling you is if you rip out bleachers, what you're suggesting is to take out bleachers in the outfield and make that a berm, you will gut your revenue from the season tickets that you've sold for people sitting on the bleachers and then the concession revenue and all the stuff that they bring in as well. It's not happening. And look, if you're talking about the condos for Mississippi State baseball, I would love to see the numbers on, because those condos that they built behind, that's not baseball revenue. Those things are you can live in them. So that would be akin to saying, we'll look at the on-campus condos at LSU, the student, whatever the student apartments, East Campus apartments, stuff like that. I don't think they roll that into baseball revenue. But I'll check. And Dick, I get it. You're a Mississippi State guy. It's not about letting people in. It's a 3-hour tailgate. That's fine. You want to talk about your culture and all that stuff. LSU is the same crap and has for years. People tailgate outside of the venue for hours before. This isn't a pissing contest about baseball fans and all that sort of stuff. I get it. I understand what it is. I understand the history of it. I get it. I've been around it my whole life, and I understand it. The point is, look, there's a lot of people who sit in the outfield at LSU that park behind the fence and go out there and get beers and bring them in and stuff like that. That happens. It's about just how it's been built out there, and that's a revenue generator that they're not going to cut off. And we need a Ted Ginn that can actually catch the ball. Right? This didn't need to become a baseball attendance show today. So I'm going to stop talking about that. Bill Gallion, are you going to live stream yoga on your Facebook or Instagram? I will. I don't mind doing it at all. I will. I'll do that. I think I just got to make sure like that nobody else is in the picture that doesn't want to be in the in the video. So some may not care. Clayton Knight, where did the name Hudco come from? Jeff Hudson founded the company. So Hudson Company. Jeff Hudson up in Bossier. Don't get me started on that. Oh yeah, I think we're just about done. Long show this morning. Drew's teacher has the vid, unfortunately, so no school for Drew today. So I'm just letting him sleep as long as he wants to sleep. So that's why we're doing a longer show. But anyway, I think we're just about done. So y'all have a great day. How many natties does State have? One. They just won their first one this past year. All right, y'all have a great day. And remember again, tonight, 6:45, meet Matt on the mat at Yoga Studio 90. A pinned comment on Facebook and YouTube. That is the link to reserve your spot. It's free, totally free. Bring a friend, come hang out, 6:45, get a good workout, wear comfortable clothes. If you don't have a yoga mat, no worries, they got them there. Come hang out tonight and work out tonight. Yoga Studio 90, 6:45, tell a friend. All right, y'all have an awesome day. Peace. Smash the like button.